What's going on, knuckleheads? This is our Stipe Miocic, Francis Ngannou, Part 2, post-fight, reaction, discussion. Before I continue, let's let the fans creep in slowly but surely and give a big shout out to our official FightersRep sponsor, Nueva Real Estate. Give them a follow on Instagram at Nueva Real Estate. You can also follow us at FightersRep on Instagram and on all social media platforms. Knuckleheads, that was just absolutely incredible. I mean, that was just an absolutely incredible performance by Francis Ngannou, who showed extra wrinkles in his wrestling, but that's not what won him the fight. What won Francis Ngannou the fight today is the fact that he was more patient and he was more intelligent and he has evolved since the fighter he was when he fought Stipe Miocic the last time. Welcome to Get It Right Saturday night. Cheers to all of you guys. We got a lot to talk about and unpack about this one. Listen, this guy's an absolute monster. Two things right off the bat you got to take away from this fight. Number one, there must be a UFC Africa now. There has to be one. Number two, calm Francis Ngannou is the most dangerous human being on the planet. And that's what Daniel Cormier said. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to echo that sentiment. Big shout out to my brother Arc7X Angel coming on here, dropping a donation. Appreciate you, brother. Francis Ngannou is the most dangerous human being on this planet, specifically calm, measured Francis Ngannou. Daniel Cormier, has it ever been this hilarious and this correct in all of his life? So Francis Ngannou becomes the new baddest man on the planet, you guys. All because of newfound patience, measuring himself, not blowing his energy all at once. 52 seconds into round number 2. Let's kind of go through what happened. So beginning of the fight, very measured. Francis Ngannou, the first big blow comes in the first round. He lands an overhead right, connects on Stipe Miocic. Stipe Miocic takes it well. You could tell it hurt a little bit. Of course, it's going to. The guy weighs like 260 pounds and can, hit like a total beast. But Stipe Miocic was taking the shots. Later on, as the round progressed, they went to the ground. Francis Ngannou sprawled, almost took Miocic's back, got behind him, was trying to lock him up. Miocic was trying to get out. He was hitting Miocic, with the free hand. I mean, he was doing a great job. Miocic got loose, but I thought to myself, well, this is good for Miocic if they wrestle because Francis will get tired. All that muscle really does wear away at the reserves, right? It really does wear away at the reserves. And I felt like Miocic was able to take Francis's shots. And I said to myself, this will pay dividends at the end of the fight if we get there. Because, Ngannou, for me, is just way too muscled. And I put out a Facebook post when I saw Francis Ngannou walk out to the octagon. I said, this guy's just too big. And I stand by that. As much as he was successful and did a great job, I stand by the fact that I think he's too big. I think he needs to lean out maybe a little bit. Maybe not for John Jones coming up, which is the next fight, but maybe he does. Maybe for John Jones he does too. I mean, he's just too bulky. But that being said, first round, Stipe's taking these shots. Francis has got the edge in the round for sure. 10-9 round for Francis. We go into the second round. It's kind of more of the same. And the beginning of the end is when Francis throws a straight and then throws a jab, right? He's kind of squared up after he throws it straight. He throws a jab, short jab. It connects. This reminded me of Dillian White's fight today, earlier in the day. This short jab connects because Francis is such a physical specimen. His arms are so long. He's got so much leverage. He's got so much power. He's got so much natural strength. That short shot is enough to rattle anybody and potentially knock out anybody on this planet. He hit Stipe with it, caught him clean. Stipe dropped to the cage. Stipe got back up. Francis came in on him. As Francis was approaching now, Stipe hit him with a nice counter right hand. And it looked like, I'm not going to say it buckled Francis. Maybe you could use that term, but it backed him up a little bit. He felt that right hand, you know. Stipe connected with a good right hand. He saw Francis go back a little bit, and he thought to himself, he's hurt. Let me go in and try to finish this guy. That is what cost Stipe Miocic this fight, because up until that point, I felt like Miocic, you know, as long as he's there and able to absorb these massive shots from Francis, is in this fight, especially in the latter half of the fight. Stipe lands that big right hand on Francis Ngannou. Ngannou seems to walk back a little bit. Maybe he's affected by the shot. Maybe not. Maybe it's a balance issue. Regardless, cheers by the way, Stipe Miocic feels that he has Ngannou hurt and reeling, and his fighter instinct kicks in and he says, I'm going to pounce on this guy now. He's hurt. As Miocic goes to attack with reckless abandon, unfortunately. He didn't go in cautiously. He thought he hurt Ngannou, and he approached with reckless abandon. He gets caught with a left hook on the way in. Again, another short, beautiful, sweet shot from Francis Ngannou, and just puts Stipe out. Stipe falls back very awkwardly. You know, his leg kind of goes limp. He falls back on it. He lands on his back, and Francis pounces. I mean, the referee hasn't stopped it yet. Francis jumps on top of Stipe and hits him with a hammer fist, you know, that despite him maybe not having the same intent, I thought was probably as or more damaging than Dan Henderson's hammer fist after he had knocked out Michael Bisping in their first fight. I mean, that was a brutal and probably unnecessary hammer fist, but I'm not going to blame Francis for it because the referee didn't stop the fight, and Stipe was durable up until that point, taking those shots. Hammer fist right on Stipe's mouth, and leaves no question that this guy, that Stipe's out of it. And we have a new champion, 52 seconds into round number 2 of the contest to determine the baddest man on the planet. And I want to say this. I'm rocking the Fez right now, right? I'm rocking the Fez right now. And this is obviously, you know, not just a gimmick. This is something my ancestors wore. And to see Francis Ngannou rocking the dashiki and a hat that, although not the same, was similar at the weigh-in, man, I gotta say, I thought that outfit was dope. And I gotta give a big shout out to Cameroon and, you know, to Nigeria for your champions. Proud of you guys. This is huge for your countries. This is huge for the continent of Africa. And like I said before, the UFC now must go to Africa, man. And let me suggest let me suggest a country, you know. I think Morocco, you know, as far as I know, and, you know, I'm not just saying this because of the Arab ethnicity, but, you know, Morocco is a beautiful place from my understanding. They've got everything. They're huge into kickboxing. They're huge into combat sports. And I'm sure there's plenty of African nations that got stuff like this too. But, you know, when I think of combat sports, as a kickboxing promoter, I think of Morocco all the time. And I think it would be a lovely spot, not far from Europe. You know, you could ferry down from Spain or whatever. And a nice central location, man. So definitely a dope spot, I think, for a UFC event. You could put the Azaitar brothers on there. You could potentially do Nigeria too, Cameroon. I mean, one of the soccer fields, you know, feature Ngannou as the main event if you did that. But, you know, something tells me, man, doing it in Morocco would be big, man. It would be big. I think you'd have people the world over, and it's a nice central location. And, you know, like I said, you put some Moroccan fighters on, some Arab fighters on, some African fighters on. Everybody shows up to that thing. Some Europeans, maybe Spain, you know, Portugal, you know, put them on there. They're nearby. Dope if that happens. Some French fighters, you know what I mean? Man, I think that would be sick. That would be absolutely sick. Another thing I wanted to talk about before we move on, man, we had Sean O'Malley get a nasty knockout against Thomas Almeida. You know, I thought he finished him in the first round. Almeida showed incredible durability. Got caught with a nasty head kick from Sean O'Malley. But didn't get finished. Nasty head kick followed up by a left hook, I believe it was. Didn't get finished. Got right back up. Almeida was right back in the fight. But in the third round, O'Malley landed a beautiful, today was like the day of short shots, right? A nice short left hook on the inside as Almeida was attacking him. Just countered him beautifully. A little short left hook on the inside. Caught Almeida, you know, sleeping basically. It was the shot that he didn't see coming that put him out. Same with Stipe. He didn't see that left hook coming. Short, beautiful little left hook. So he drops Almeida with that. Almeida rolls on the floor. He's still conscious. He's just not defending himself. And Sean O'Malley walks up nonchalantly, you guys, and drops a nasty punch from standing. He's standing up and he just drops a nasty punch, lands right on Thomas Almeida's face, puts him to sleep in brutal fashion. So say what you want about Sugar Sean O'Malley, but I had diabetes watching Sugar Sean O'Malley. Also, Vicente Luque, if you ask me, tonight retired the great Tyron Woodley. Listen, much respect to Tyron Woodley, who was a good champion, but he's no longer the same guy. He got beat in dominant fashion by Kamaru Usman, then Burns. Tonight was his chance, like Joe Rogan said on the broadcast, to right the ship, but he went down. He went down with the ship tonight, you guys. You know, I guess the finishing sequence, you could say, kind of involved both guys landing big shots. Tyron Woodley definitely landed a big right hand on Luque, kind of discombobulated him a bit, but Luque, man, is a warrior. Landed big shots of his own, had Tyron Woodley out on his feet. I thought he was going to knock him out, to be honest with you guys. Was just teeing off on him. They got to the ground. He got him in a Darce choke. Woodley was stuck and had to tap out. And, you know, it was kind of sad to see. It was kind of sad to see a former champion, because it's the end of an era, right? I mean, you look at guys like Woodley and Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, who were the bee's knees, right? Not too long ago. They're not there anymore, man. They can't, you know, I don't believe they can even compete anymore at the top level. I mean, Tyron Woodley got finished in brutal fashion today, you guys. And I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if the UFC, you know, cut him or maybe gave him one more fight if they're feeling really generous. But he didn't show anything today, to me at least, to indicate that, you know, he's going to be around any longer. So, anyway, that's what I got to say about that. Let's move on now to the chat, see what everybody in here is saying. Appreciate you guys joining me. If it's your first time being in here, be sure to like down here, because that's going to help me with the YouTube algorithm. After you do that, subscribe, hit the bell notification icon next to it, and join the channel. Just $5 a month. That's 16 cents a day. You help me build this channel. And our very own kickboxing promotion, man. California is opening up. So very soon, we'll have kickboxing fights again on this channel. And you can only watch them with the $5 a month membership. You also get access to our members-only meetings and discounts on FightersRep gear in the link below, which also, if you help me, if you purchase down there, you help me build this channel and the promotion and give these young fighters an amazing venue to compete. Here's an example of what you could buy on the link below. Let me pretend I'm Francis Ngannou. Not quite, but yeah. So let's check out what's going on in the chat. Marco Martinez says, I called it. Francis wasn't going to be beaten today. He's too big, hits too hard. Well, I think if Miocic would have been patient, he would have had a better chance. I just think his instincts got the better of him. What I was impressed with Miocic was his ability to take those shots of Francis Ngannou, man. I didn't think Miocic was going to be able to take the amount of punishment that he did. I mean, he was absorbing a lot of those shots. And again, it's the shots that you don't expect, that you don't see, that put you out. That's what happened to Miocic today. He landed that right hand on Ngannou. He thought he had him hurt. He rushed in. He got caught with the left hand. I wonder, had Miocic landed that shot and been patient, what would have happened? Who knows? Maybe he gets a third fight. Maybe it's John Jones next. Who knows? I look forward to it, whatever happens. And I'm interested to see what Miocic does after this. Because losing to a monster like Francis Ngannou, I don't think is a reason to hang the gloves up, especially, where I believe Miocic could potentially adjust and potentially, give Francis a good fight. What up? Checking in to say, I appreciate the unbiased comment. Appreciate you, Manny53. Thank you, man. Archangel's in here with the donation. Appreciate you, man. He says, not big on the UFC. How did it end? As I explained, Francis Ngannou, man, laid Stipe Miocic out in brutal fashion. John Jones stands no chance against this Francis. You know what? I think I agree, man. I don't see how John Jones deals with this sort of power. He's going to have to try to take this guy down, and I don't think he's strong enough. We'll have to see. Michael Moon. Jones is going to pick Francis apart like he did Rampage Jackson. Man, Rampage Jackson and Francis Ngannou are night and day, brother. Now, I completely disagree, George, with your opinion on Francis' physique. It's not that he's so big. He's got KO power in his fist. All buff guys aren't built the same. I think it slows him down a bit, though, man. I think he can lean out just a little bit, improve his speed. That power's not going anywhere. What an insane night, says Shrimp Paste 1. Oh, my God, call the ambulance, bro. Shrimp Paste. That shit was crazy. We see what happened to Swole AJ against Ruiz. Two different sports, but the mobility is compromised with size. I agree with that. And Shrimp Paste says, correct. Stipe is a great, but he's older, has been KO'd multiple times. He wasn't going to be able to take Francis's power. We'll see. We'll have to wait and see if he gets a third fight. Henderson's hammer fist was well-deserved. A calm, measured Francis, says Marco Martinez. Koofy hat was on point for sure, brother. Appreciate you. Arc 7X Angel. Man, where you been? Where you been? Stipe, of course, deserves it, but no trilogy needed. The result will be the same. Not only was Francis better tonight, but Stipe aged in there as well. He should retire, in my opinion. I got to disagree with that. I think Stipe, with a different game plan, could still win this fight. Shrimp Paste 1 says, true. I don't like John Jones's tweet, show me the money. I mean, he's just talking. He's just talking. He's going to get paid what they want him to be paid. I think that's how the UFC rolls. Manny53, although if I were him, I would ask for a lot of money to fight a guy like Francis Ngannou, man. That's that's life and death in there, man. UFC would be smart to have Rumble in the jungle. I agree with that. Marco Martinez says, I hope Francis humbles him. John Jones needs to stay off the booger sugar, says Manny53. Marco Martinez says, Derek Lewis has a legit chance to win the title now. KO power to KO power. Perhaps. But I think Ngannou's smarter now. And I don't think Derek Lewis, I don't think his wrestling is good enough. He would have to beat Ngannou on the feet. And I don't think he would beat Ngannou on the feet. Not this Ngannou, not this improved Ngannou. I think Ngannou could just jab at him and probably knock him out with a jab, if I'm being honest with you. That's kind of what he, dropped Miocic with today. He could have almost finished him with that jab. Woodley's rap makes me cry, says Cal Blundell. I think Ngannou kills Lewis. I agree with Cal Blundell. I think he does kill Lewis. Most likely, but the fireworks from that fight would be epic. I'm down for whatever, man. I'm down for what. I just want to watch Francis Ngannou fight, man. That is a spectacle, you guys. This guy's a spectacle. I've never seen a heavyweight with this kind of power. Not in boxing, not in MMA. I can't think of anyone with this kind of power. I mean, nobody is able to take this guy's power. I mean, even with Tyson, right? You had Holyfield. You had Buster Douglas. You had people that were able to deal with his power. Who have you seen that possesses the knockout power of a Francis Ngannou? I've never seen it. There's been nobody. I mean, nobody to this day. I've never seen anyone take the power as well as Stipe, but even he couldn't take it. He got caught with that sneaky left hook and got, put into orbit. Who, in what combat sport, who have you seen power like this from? I haven't seen it. I mean, the guy's, his fights, I think they said before this one averaged like a minute and 11 seconds. I mean, it's just outrageous. Cheers, by the way, guys. Get it right Saturday night. You know how we do in here. The Woodley that fought tonight would have been super marketable, looked super dangerous, but he's lost a step and it's time for the next generation. I agree, man. Woodley's done, in my opinion, man. Great champion. All respect to him. But yeah, he's lost not just a step. He's lost a couple steps, man. I think Woodley of years ago would not have, gone out the way he did tonight. Cal Blundell says, Wonderboy beat Luque in an easy way and also put a clinic on versus Neal. Right, but Wonderboy also got knocked out by Anthony Pettis. You see what I'm saying? Knocked out, put to sleep. So, Kirky Ivan, my brother, says, I'm disappointed with Stipe's mistake. That was a big mistake. We in here, yo, says Cheddar323. What up, brother? He says, Stipe came in too lean. That Francis Power put the lights out. You know what's funny? Chris Cross and I thought he should come in heavier. Chris Cross is our commentator. He's also a pro fighter. We predicted Stipe to win, and we thought Stipe would come in heavier. We thought by being heavier, he'd be able to take Francis's power better. I guess didn't work out. George, I have to shout out Chris Cross. Did an excellent podcast with you on Wednesday. Brought the energy and insight. I hope he does another one with you soon. One of the nicest dudes ever for sure. He's going to be on Mondays. From now on Mondays, me and Chris will be predicting fights on the channel. So guys, definitely tune in, check it out, support me and Chris. I really appreciate it. I don't think at this stage Francis is going to gain any more cardio. It's about how he handles his energy. If he can pace himself, he's unstoppable. I think you're right. He just might be unstoppable, Marco. If he can pace himself. Now, we got to see if John Jones is able to push the pace. I guess the trick is you're going to have to push that pace. You're going to have to tire him out. And you're going to have to hope that, you tire him out to the point where he can't knock you out by touching you. Because that's all it takes for him. I might just quit watching combat sports after watching what happened to Stipe. I have a daughter too. Just imagine your little girl seeing that. Oh my God. Change the sports, but do you think Povetkin was still showing effects from COVID? Some say he didn't look right. Manny, I was right in that I predicted Dillian White to win the fight, but I thought White would win by decision. He ended up knocking Povetkin out today, and we did a video about that. He ended up knocking Povetkin out. I believe it was in the 4th or 5th round, whatever it was. I would have doubled down had I been a betting man. I would have doubled down on my prediction for Dillian Whyte to win that fight at the weigh-in. When I saw the weigh-in and I saw the shape that Povetkin was in, and look, it might not just have been the COVID. It could have also been the fact that Povetkin, I mean, let's face it, guys, he's over 40 years old now. And he was getting beat up in the first fight against Whyte before, landed that amazing uppercut. So for me, I thought Dillian Whyte was going to win. I thought Povetkin looked like shit at the weigh-in, if I'm being honest with you guys. He looked not so lean, a little bit flabby. And, throughout the fight, he was like doing squats, trying to revive his legs. Like something was wrong with his legs. He just didn't look good to me. But I will not take away from Dillian Whyte's redemption. I will not take away from his win. Povetkin is a very dangerous guy, and we need to remember, Alexander Povetkin is a former Olympic gold medalist. He's a champion, and he's a guy who's only ever lost to the best of the best. That's Vladimir Klitschko, Anthony Joshua, and now Dillian Whyte. And I've always considered Dillian Whyte an upper echelon heavyweight. Maybe he'll never beat an Anthony Joshua or Tyson Fury, but man, he sure as hell is in the top 3 or top 5 on most heavyweight lists. And there's no shame in losing to Dillian Whyte, man. He's got second best resume, maybe one of the best resumes, first or second best resumes in heavyweight boxing. The only person I think has got a better resume than him is Anthony Joshua. Cheers. Arc7X Angel says, trust me, brother, that KO at this point in his career aged Stipe by 5 years, and his second fight just gets him hurt. You might be right. Marco Martinez says, Francis has the potential to be the biggest draw in MMA. His KO power is amazing, and he's such an elegant, classy, lovable guy. He's got such an incredible story. You can get behind his story. I gotta be honest, man. I really like the guy. When he said what he said about being a kid and having a rough childhood and he doesn't have any good memories of it, and becoming champion would make him sort of, it would fulfill him for what he lacked as a child. When he said that, to me, I said to myself, man, that's how do you not get behind a guy like that? You know what I mean? Super stoked about the new Monday show. I think it's a great idea. Can't wait to hear Blake Troop and Chris behind the mic at FightersRep 10. Man, I cannot wait either, man. I'm just chomping at the bit. In case you guys don't know, California's slowly opening back up. That means we're going to be able to put on some fights here shortly. And you're going to see the best fights you've ever seen on this channel. I got to tell you guys, you're going to see the best fights you've ever seen on this channel right here. Our rule set, there's no grappling. You stand and bang. You stand and fight. Of course, they use gloves like in boxing. We're a kickboxing promotion. But you got to stand and fight. There's no sweeps. There's no kicks below the knee. There's no clinching unless it's one-hand clinch like in boxing. As long as you're working, they'll let you fight. But if you clinch, they're going to break you up. And, at this point, I'm super excited. I mean, we've got guys from the UFC, Bellator, BKFC, Glory. Guys who've competed at the highest level are contacting us to compete. So I appreciate you guys joining me on this channel. I hope you join me on the journey. Join the channel or, donate or buy your FightersRep gear in the link below. It helps me continue to fund this endeavor. I mean, I come out of pocket for all this stuff, in case you guys don't know. So appreciate you guys joining me and helping you out. Or helping me out. Knuckleheads, that's all I got, man. We've been on half an hour. Always great talking to you guys after the fights. Man, and you can catch us, obviously, on Monday. Maybe even tomorrow, but on Monday. Typically, we put out content every day. You want to check in at 7 p.m. We've got some content coming out. But that's all I've got to say, man. A fantastic fight. by Francis Ngannou, man. Congrats to the new champ. Congrats to Cameroon. Congrats to Africa. You guys got another champion, another reason for UFC to come out there and put on an event. Knuckleheads, I look forward to hearing from you guys and seeing